I got them covered.
All right, guys, welcome everyone. And first day of practice. And turn over to Coach Musselman for an opening statement.
First of all, we've kind of divided up, the off season. We just finished up what we called our team development segment. And now, obviously, we're starting first official practice today, which we're calling our training camp, which will really go up until we play the inter-squad game in Barnhill, and then we'll start getting ready, for the regular season. So it goes pretty quick, the off season, and here we are with full 20-hour weeks to work with our student athletes. And we've been really pleased with the buy-in, the effort, the energy, the enthusiasm that our guys have shown up to this point. Now it starts to become a little bit of a grind. This training camp segment, when you really don't play a game for an extended period of time, mentally you got to have some toughness to get through, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to accomplish between now and our first game.
Questions?
Yeah, I guess what's the feeling that you have after the team development stuff?
We're excited. I think that everybody in the country right now, from a college basketball standpoint, is excited. It's first day of practice, and having said that, there's some areas we got to get better at. We got to continue to, as we look into the future, we got to continue with improving our depth, and then this year it's going to be really important, as we've talked about, a lot, is just our rebounding the basketball and rim protection. We're going to have to do it a little bit different than the normal rim protection type thing, and then we got to take care of the basketball. We have not gone live much at all, although everything we've done up to this point has been team stuff. We didn't break it down to 3 or 4 man individual skill stuff. We did all of our skill work as a group, but we do have to take care of the basketball, and obviously some of those things that I've just talked about were areas of concern last year as well, and they continue to be in areas of concern as we kind of look for what we need to try to accomplish to the best we can in the minimal amount of time between now and opening night.
Eric, you got a lot of newcomers, but you got a lot of guys coming back to probably about half and half. How do you feel like those guys have mastered so far?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. That's actually why, a big part of why we went full team since we've been together. So we were in a 4-hour segment basically the whole time I've been here, 4 hours per week. And we've elected to use those 4 hours with our whole group rather than just guards for an hour and bigs for another. We don't have any bigs, so I guess we kind of have to have all wings, so to speak. But I think they're getting, from a player chemistry standpoint, they've been phenomenal. Off the floor, it seems like they've really gelled. We've done a ton of things together off the basketball court, or not really between the lines, where we've come together from a chemistry standpoint, not just the new players, but also our new coaching staff. So there's a lot of newness that we're trying to get to, to have familiarity with one another. But then on the floor, I think that's really when this segment, because now we're going to start going live a lot more than what we have. And so even though we've put in a lot of our defensive and offensive philosophies, a lot of that stuff has been non-contact. And so now we're, as you prepare for a season, you got to have a lot of contact, and it's going to be physical, and it's going to be taxing both mentally and physically going forward from now until the week before our first game.
What sort of things have you guys done off the court together?
I need a whole nother press conference for that. But, we've had the team over to the house a lot. Every Friday during the course of our summer segment, we did something outside the box that was not basketball related, whether it was boxing, yoga. We train with the track team. We try to do something at least once a week that's a little bit outside the box. And I think that it kind of helps everybody get to know each other. And it's we're only playing 30 games, and obviously at the pro level you're playing 82 games, and the guys are away from you in the summer, so to speak. But it's a long grind with only 30 games, and so I think you got to kind of you got to mix things up in practice so that there's some excitement every day when you come in. It can't be the same monotony things that you do both on the floor and off the floor.
Philosophy, I know, is probably not going to change the way you want to play, but have you had to schematically do some things with the lack of size? That, have you had to kind of prepare for that?
Yeah, I mean, because we haven't had to prepare for a team, and we're going against ourselves, so it's hard to really see how small we are. But I think as we start getting ready to play games, we'll certainly take on an identity of we'll have to change lineups, maybe even game by game. That might be something. It's not etched in stone, but this might not be a roster where we roll out the same 5 guys game after game after game. We might have to try to do some things based on who we're playing, and trying to take advantage, look at advantage, disadvantage type things on lineups and starting lineups, and then rotations as well.
Who would you say have been the standouts, in the workouts and the conditioning and all that stuff?
Yeah, I would say for sure that Isaiah Joe has been the steadiest day after day after day. Performance, attitude, everything. We had the players all vote for who worked the hardest, and we had 3 different categories: leadership, working hard, and then who got in off hours, and Desi graded out the highest amongst his peers. That was not anything that myself or the coaches, that I had the guys vote on that. So I'd say Desi had a really good off season as well. And then I think a lot of our new guys, there's an excitement with them being on campus. There's an appreciation with them being here. So I think those 2 guys in particular, one because of the steadiness of his approach since I've been here, and then would have to talk about Desi just because of what his teammates thought of what happened this offseason with him.
With Jimmy coming back, I know you weren't here the first time he was here. Have you talked to him about his experiences in the past here, and then maybe what it's like for him to be back at Arkansas?
Yeah, I know he's really excited. Obviously he had a lot of opportunities to, 1, stay where he was, and 2, once he hit the transfer portal, he had a lot of opportunity. He was highly sought after because of his ability to rebound at the guard spot. And you look at his wingspan defensively, and Andy's a really quality young man as well. I haven't really asked him about the past because it really doesn't matter what his role was before, or with any of the guys, Jimmy or any of them. I mean, we're going off what we see and how they fit into our schemes and stuff. So, on his visit we talked a little bit about it, but not much.
What about a guy like Mason Jones? I saw some pictures of him the other day. He kind of looks slim and trim.
Yeah, Mason's worked really, really hard on his body and watches what he eats, and he's been a guy that if we practice at 2:30, if you walk in the building at 6:15 in the morning, there's a pretty good chance he's in here shooting, with one of the grad assistants, and his work ethic early in the morning. We had a little group that was kind of like the breakfast club before anybody got in the building. There was 3 or 4 or 5 guys a lot of times that were shooting at 6 in the morning. And he was one of the guys that spearheaded that group. And now with Mason, it's just about consistency on a daily basis. There's practices that he's shoots the lights out and is phenomenal, and then he'll miss a couple shots, and we got to kind of bring him back to the to where he's got to get mentally. So we just one of the things that we're talking to Mason a lot about is just a consistency in his approach on a daily basis.
Who else was in the breakfast club with him?
Isaiah shot a lot in the morning. Desi, J5, Scylla. I think that's the group.
You're obviously working on this season with the current roster. What are you looking at to add in November or the late period in terms of factors and how many?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I mean, the one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to. You never know in recruiting, but we don't want to make a mistake. The fortunate thing, and I talked to Hunter and John about it even on the interview. I had like 4 years where I sat back and really got to study, and then 2 years as an assistant, and another, so really you add another 3 years as an assistant. And I thought that, the one thing, and looking at rosters, when you make a mistake recruiting, it can really set you back. And so we're going to be as sure as we possibly can. Obviously, the younger a player is, the more upside, but yet also there's less body of work. But we have really, really been recruiting this class really hard. Having said that, in the 2020 class, we as a staff, we as a program, and the players, like we're a year behind where other people were. And so we understand that, and I feel like our staff's made incredible strides with the 20 class. What happens in November, what happens the early signing period, the late signing period, have no idea where that goes. But certainly the effort and the energy that the staff has put in, and for most of our recruits, their openness to give us a chance or a platform to try to let recruits know who we are, what our philosophy is, and I mean, we're doing as much as we can. I'm 54 years old, and I don't think my wife and daughter like to go on Twitter and see me with a headband on and a knee brace and in a uniform. Like, my wife doesn't really think that's cool. But right now we have recruits across the country that are sending us pictures that they want to, hey, if I come on campus, can we do this? So we're trying to kind of create a niche and try to relate to, to 18-year-olds rather than 55-year-olds.
How's a guy like Adrio been, and what's he kind of been like? I guess he's going to be kind of in a leadership role with the forwards group.
Yeah, I mean, Adrio, the thing that Adrio gives us is a vibrant, he's got a personality. And he lightens the room every day with his smile and with his energy, and he's always upbeat, which is really important because, again, like, not today, not tomorrow, but like next Wednesday and next Thursday, like, those are hard when you're going 2 hours. It's a hard grind, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Look, the coaches, the players, fans, everybody, the games are what's fun. And that's what you put all this work in for is for the games. And so he's a guy that kind of makes this time frame go a little bit quicker because of his attitude. And he can play the 4. He's going to have to play some 5 for us this year. We've talked to him about that. And obviously I think he, in his mind, he's kind of like a 4-3 or a 3-4, and he's probably going to have to play those positions and play a lot more 5 than he probably ever has in his life.
How would you say the conditioning is with the guys?
Phenomenal. We're not on the track today doing the mile run because everybody passed it. I would say that we spend a lot of time on physical condition, and like we're gonna have a lot of guys play a lot of minutes because of the depth. We're not going to go. I'm not playing 11 guys because I don't have 11 guys eligible on the roster. So we're probably going to have a rotation of 7 or 8 guys. And so those 7 guys got to really be in great physical condition. And we talked about, the physical condition that our past teams have had. And then, you hope that you're in great condition, and that, knock on wood, alleviates minor injuries going forward if you're in great shape. I think sometimes injuries happen when you're not in great physical condition.
Did you guys have like a mile trial on a certain day? And did different guys, based on their size, have to hit a certain time?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So the guards were 5:30, the wings were 5:40, and then the bigs were 5:50.
So who all qualified as a big? I guess Connor and Reggie.
Yeah, those 2 were the only 2 that were considered 5s. Now Connor did not pass, which, when you're 7'4", you're probably not going to be able to run a mile. So he's the only guy that I've ever given a pass to because of his body frame, and we don't want his back. But everybody else did pass.
So everybody ran it like on the same?
We ran it as a team in the morning, usually at 6 in the morning, and then once you passed, you were out. Some guys would rerun it with their teammates to try to get them to pass. So some guys, actually the coolest thing was one of our last times, we had 4 different guys time it up where they each ran 1 lap to try to set the pace to get the other guys to finish and pass. And it was really cool. I've been doing the mile run for I don't know how long, dating all the way back to when I was coaching Sacramento Kings, and I've never had a group ever do that where 4 teammates that had passed kind of set the bar for what the guys that were trying to make their mile time. It was pretty cool.
Do you remember who the 4 guys were that did that? Or I can get with Mike later or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know it was Isaiah, Desi, might have been Mason, and Adrio, if I had to guess right now.
You know who had the fastest time? Of anybody?
We'll get it to you.
Okay, I'll check with Mike.
Has Reggie Chaney embraced that 5 role?
I hope so. I mean, we're going to have to play that, by committee. And, Reggie's going to have to play some, and Adrio's going to have to play some, and Silla's probably played the 3-4 his whole life, and he's going to have to play some when we play small ball. And Mason's going to move to the 4 against certain teams, and he's a 2-3. So, we've done this in the past when we've had a roster that that you haven't had a lot of time to try to formulate, and so we'll do the best we can figuring it out. But we're looking forward to the challenge and with great excitement.
How unique is it to have a roster without any freshmen on it, even though there's a lot of new guys and new faces coming in?
What's the question?
How unique is it to have a roster without a freshman on it, even though there's a lot of transfers, a lot of new faces in?
Yeah, I mean, we got so many sophomores. We're still young, which I think that guys like Silla and Jimmy Witt, I think those guys can help us, and Adrio, and the makeup of college basketball is. Just with the transfer market and stuff, there's a lot of really good freshmen that aren't finding their way to Power Fives right now, just because of that fact. But it's not a surprise when you get the job this late that there's not a freshman as part of our program right now. Because again, we weren't going to just take a guy late that we didn't feel was good. We exhausted all options and just didn't feel there was anybody that could contribute.
You mentioned Jalen Harris being part of that breakfast club. How much do you think that's improved his jump shot this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, with shooting, is mental too. It's not just he's been getting in reps. He looks really good in shooting the ball on his own, and I feel like his confidence is growing. And having said that, now. I think anytime with any upperclassman, it comes down to, it's whether you're in a baseball hitter or you get in grooves and you get in slumps. And I think with J5, it's really just, getting him into a game and him knocking down a couple threes, and then what we see behind closed doors, hopefully he'll shoot the ball at a much higher rate this year.
You mentioned Connor. Is it any update on his status?
No, nothing at all. We're just kind of waiting.
I thought he was 7'3". Is he up to 7'4"?
Maybe 7'3". Maybe I exaggerate a little bit.
I'll check with Mike.
You mentioned your recruiting niche. Did you anticipate that your style would get this much national attention as it has on social media?
Yes and no. At Nevada, we did a lot of off-the-wall, outside-the-box stuff that generated a lot of national stuff, and that actually kind of helped us in recruiting tremendously. And so we're trying to do different stuff here. I'd never done the recruiting pictures like that. It just kind of happened. One time I did something, and then somebody said it looked like an NBA scene, and then that triggered a thought. And I mean, the weird thing is, I was at the football game the other day, and 2 students came up to me and asked if they could. One of the kids had a scene of Jordan and Kobe guarding, and he said, "Hey, will you guard me?" And I was like, "Well, there's 60,000 people at the football game. Like, where are we going to do this?" So I took him up, and we did it in the hallway. But so it's kind of cool and unique and different, and the great thing about coaching college athletics is you can do some stuff like that. I don't think in the NBA I'd be posing with pictures with any of the NBA guys I coached. Ron Artest probably hit me in the face.
Yeah, they showed you on the big board. Were you just sitting on the stand someplace?
Yeah.
You weren't in a fancy schmancy stack?
No, Riley's got great seats. They're front row seats right behind. It's awesome.
Was that on the east side or the west side?
Right behind Arkansas's bench. Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned having to play catch-up. I mean, how much have you guys as a staff had to play catch-up in recruiting and just all the places you've been, trying to play catch-up?
Yeah, I just think that, most relationships are started with players like at the beginning of their junior year, kind of. And some even before that, obviously, if it's a really good player and you can identify that player early on. One of the guys that we signed at Nevada, it started when he was a freshman, and there's guys we're recruiting now that maybe West Coast that I'd been recruiting at a really young age. But so really we've kind of lost with this 20 class. We've lost that junior year, so to speak. But we're getting guys that want to visit that are high-level guys, so I feel like we've done a really good job, and only time will tell, how it ends up.
I know you can't talk about players, but a lot of them have commented about the presentation you guys have had and how you see them fitting in. I mean, how much work has gone into that, and how beneficial do you think that's been for you guys in building those relationships, having that?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily, like preparation or presentation with the recruits. I mean, when Hunter, told me that they'd like to interview me, like I prepared like that, like you're supposed to, and when a recruit comes on campus, you have to prepare, and when we do practice, we spend hours preparing for practice, and so I think, anything you do, you got to be really detailed. And obviously our recruits have commented on that, and we take it really seriously. Like, we don't just think they're coming on campus just to, have a good time, and, like they're trying to make a decision that's kind of life altering. And so we have to prepare like it's a big time, lifetime decision for a young person.
How's Khalil
Last one, Bob.
doing, kind of fitting in as a student coach? What's your thoughts on getting to know him?
I can't say enough about Khalil. I mean, he's at everything. Like, we have 6 a.m. weights. He's sitting there with his teammates watching, and he never misses a practice. He's early for stuff. He's a big part of our team, man. Like, he really is, because even though he's not suiting up, like, guys feed off him and they respect him, and I respect the heck out of him, and he's a big part of our basketball family for sure.
Is he a good conduit for you from the staff to the players? Because he's not playing, but he's still kind of one of the guys.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the guys, and I do think that he kind of gets where we're coming from. I really do, and I'll talk to him underneath the basket or on the baseline sometimes about, hey, let's get this guy going a little bit harder, or let's get this guy focused a little bit more, and hopefully that relationship will continue to evolve and get even stronger and stronger, where he has more of a voice like a coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.